Martin Rackin. Martin Rackin, 31 July 1918, 15 April 1976, was an American writer and producer who was briefly head of production at Paramount Pictures from 1960-64. In the late 1950s, he wrote and produced a series of films with actor Alan Ladd.Richard Fleischer described Rackin as a real character. He was a fast-talking, breezy, nervous con man type who blinked his eyes a lot. You always had the feeling that he was some sort of a street corner shell game operator keeping an eye open for the cops. Biography. Rackin was born in New York City. He worked as an errand boy for a Times Square hat shop. He became a reporter for the New York Daily Mirror and was a feature writer for 2 news services. He also worked as a speech writer and in publicity. Rackin wrote a book, Buy Me That Town. Film rights to this were bought by Saul Siegel and Rackin moved to Hollywood. He served in the Air Force during World War II. He wrote a sequel to Treasure Island, Long John Silver 1954, which was filmed in Australia along with a spin-off TV series The Adventures of Long John Silver 1954-55. Rackin wrote most episodes. Producer. Back in Hollywood, Rackin wrote the story for Lisbon 1956. He formed an alliance with Alan Ladd. He wrote several films for Ladd including Hell on Frisco Bay 1956, Santiago 1956, The Big Land 1957, and The Deep Six 1958. He produced several of these films. He also produced Top Secret Affair 1957, The Helen Morgan Story 1957, Darby's Rangers 1958, Fort Dobbs 1959, and The Barbarians 1960. Rackin teamed up with John Lee Mahan. Both men wrote and produced The Horse Soldiers 1959 and North to Alaska 1960. Paramount. In July 1960, Rackin was appointed supervisory chief of production at Paramount Studios, a position that had been vacant since Dan Hartman left in 1956. At the time, Paramount were dominated by independent production units run by producers like Hal Wallis, George Seaton, and Alfred Hitchcock, all of whom would leave Paramount in the next few years. It was thought Rackin's appointment might herald a return to the time when Paramount had more control over its productions. "We will make pictures that entertain," he said in August that year. In 1962, he announced the studio would make international family entertainment. Post-Paramount. After leaving his position as head of Paramount, Rackin turned into an independent producer. He signed a contract to make movies with Fox in December 1964. His credits include Stagecoach 1966, Rough Night in Jericho 1967, The Great Sex War 1969, Two Mules for Sister Sarah 1970, and The Revengers 1972. He also rewrote Two Mules. In October 1972, Rackin was appointed vice president at Brutt Productions. He was to oversee 2 films there, Hang Up and Miss 1000 Spring Blossoms. Rackin set up a production company with Burl Adams. He was in London to set up a film when he died of a heart attack while sleeping at his room at the Grosvenor Hotel. He was survived by his wife Helen, a daughter and 2 grandchildren. Partial credits. Films made while Rackin head of Paramount: The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance 1962, Hatari 1962, Man's Favorite Sport 1964,